If you're familiar with my writing, you might be aware of a series of poetry tours I'm going on this year and into the future. This involves me going around to various places and leaving my poetry on the streets for people to find. This time I'm bringing close to 500 poems with me to Ballarat, Victoria, where I hope to introduce the locals to my writing and spread love, peace, and hope in the process. Ballarat, the inland city, a sanctuary of heritage, proudly preserved, and a place of evident colonialism. It was near here that gold was first discovered in 1851, sparking history that became the gold rush as we know it. They called it the Golden City, where diggers flocked from all around the world, hoping to strike their luck with gold and start new lives for themselves. It soon became an industrial age city with buildings made from the very stone that was mined during the gold rush. When people think of Ballarat, most people think of Sovereign Hill, a tourist attraction and museum linked with gold rush artifacts and colonial life. But I think of my own history with this place. I used to come here as a teenager. I don't pretend to know the streets very well, and in fact I got lost several times on my wanderings past Victorian-style architecture intermingled with old abandoned buildings. But this was a place I came regularly, and something about this place always sparked my intrigue. Adolescent me considered the possibility of living here someday, if I ever have children or reach old age. It seemed a good place to retire. I'm still a young man, but that possibility still seems quite idealistic. It does seem a peaceful place. There were kids running about in the square without a care in the world, and locals actually smiled when you passed by. Melbourne is not like this. If that culture is unchanged when I'm older, maybe I will live there. I had a great evening, wandering the streets and sticking up my poetry. I made sure to walk as much of the main town as I could, following a map, street by street, sometimes ending up where I started and seeing my first poems still clinging to the walls I left them on. I found intriguing alleyways where I stumbled across strange artworks by other artists scattered about Ballarat. Sometimes people noticed me, but mostly they treated me like a stranger, a nobody. It felt good to be in a place where nobody knew me and where I knew nobody. Even as the sun began to dip and the sky darkened, I carried on with my poetry tour until I was satisfied I had left a substantial number of my poems in the main town area. I would have loved to have spent longer here so I could see Lake Wendouree and some of the other beautiful parts of Ballarat. But I'm afraid this time I was merely a drifter passing through for a brief stop with no time to stay any longer than I might have fancied. I also spent some time in Clunes, which is a small town with a deep connection to literature, colonial history, and rare book collections. I was here for the Clunes Booktown Festival, for which I had my own author table. I left poetry here for the locals as well. This was another place I visited a few times as a teenager with big dreams of becoming an author. It was nice to return as a published author and as a street poet. I plan on continuing these poetry tours. I have no idea when or where the next one will be, but it will be happening. See you again soon.